If we head back in time to the 16th century, Canada was a place filled with indigenous people. The land was theirs, right? When colonies arrived and took that peace and smile out of their lives, they had no choice. Everyone wants to protect their land no matter what, right? They didn't want to share. Whatever was being done to them, they didn't deserve it. Fun fact, Canada was once called Kanata, a pure indigenous name. Indigenous people are called the Indians, but not from India. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of Criminal. Today we delve into the story of the infamous Canadian gang Indian Posse. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Now let's get back to more of a present time. It's the year 1988 in Winnipeg, Manitoba. The Wolf brothers, Danny and Richard, founded a gang called the Indian Posse. They never had a happy time growing up. Danny was born with alcohol syndrome due to his mother being a drunk when she was pregnant, and that kind of altered the way of his life as he started growing up. He displayed poor self-control, anger issues, and a tendency towards aggression, which are typical of those born with fetal alcohol syndrome. The Wolf brothers were greatly influenced by American gangsta rap, which was their favorite genre of music. Much of the style of the gang owed considerably more to Afro-American gangsta rappers than to First Nations culture. But why the Indian Posse? The word Indian was often used in a pejorative sense in Manitoba, and the Wolf brothers picked the name Indian Posse as an attempt to cancel out the negative sense of the word Indian, just in the same way that some Afro-Americans call themselves the N-word in an attempt to turn a derogatory word into an affirmative one. Their symbol was and is the same since the beginning, a red bandana. The red is the color of blood and passion, and they even say it's the color of power. The gang was never led by one man, it was always a circle or a council, whichever you say. The circle was made out of 10 people, usually Cree. Only 1 year from their foundation, they became thousands, and they first started as thieves. They were mixed male and females, they had power, but by the 1990s, the group decided to remove the girls. They didn't want them to feel the violence that was in the gang. Gang members were forbidden to consume the hard drugs like cocaine and heroin. They also were forbidden to speak to outsiders about what they did in the gang. There was this crazy thing too, the new member had to be beaten for 5 minutes by other gang members to test their endurance and strength. This is something else, bro. They even had their own prison for members who commit crimes. Really? Prison? The Indian Posse was divided into some levels. The beginners were G money, usually involved in small crimes like theft or drug moving. After some time, those become strikers, the second level. The highest level was that of a full patch member who would be allowed to wear a tattoo of a shield on the neck, a tattoo of arm bars on the forearms, and a tattoo reading Indian Posse on the back. Let's just say after some time, if you wanted to leave the gang, that meant death. Yeah, it really was a death penalty because the gang members were meant to serve for life. Let's head back to the Wolves. By the 1990s, they moved into car theft and armed robbery. By 1991, they rented a house and started prostitution and drug dealing. In that same year, they established an open-air drug market outside of the Merchants Hotel, known locally as The Merch, on Selkirk Avenue in the north end of Winnipeg. Soon that became the biggest drug market in Winnipeg. They had all kinds of drugs. You only had to choose. Danny was making 15 to 30 grand a week. Generating all that money, they did not care to save it all. They were big spenders, they did not even care, no sweat, no regret, right? After some years, they made a big step. They moved into Saskatchewan and started taking over all the youth and people who were in reserves. The unemployment status reached 80%. They became national. They found a way to smuggle drugs into the north sides. Because those sides were hard to reach with a car, they found a way to use planes, making the grams cost 10 times more. They did not care. They had power, wealth, people. They even started using small kids as prostitutes. By small, I mean 9 years old. The gang was described as disgusting by authorities due to the lack of heart in the things they were doing. Now, with all that power, you must have enemies, right? The Indian Posse was known to have rivals over the years, such as the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, Red Alert, White Boy Posse, Manitoba Warriors, and Overlords. The last ones managed to shoot with a shotgun at an IP house, which led to a mass drive-by shooting. The Wolf brothers died in prison. While serving his life sentence in the Saskatchewan Penitentiary, Danny Wolf was murdered by another prisoner on the 4th of January 2010. Richard, on the other hand, tried to murder a pizza delivery man, was released in 2010. After some time, he broke up with his girlfriend and started abusing booze and drugs. But a couple tried to do him a favor and they gave him their basement. He tried to abuse the wife and assaulted the husband, which led him back to prison. And in 2016, he had a heart attack in his cell. There you have it, folks, the story of the Indian Posse, a true native gang that ruled Canada. If you liked the video, make sure to smash those like and subscribe buttons, and I will see you in the next one.